terrible that is. In terms of
They gotta get a signal. They gotta get a signal.
I think you got the old time.
I'm telling you that they know that that's why there's only one left.
Yeah, if you can keep it straight.
We're keeping it straight.
Hi, I'm Amy Paradata. I'm the speaker coordinator for this event, and I am also a production coordinator for a hemp television show with Doug Fine. So I'm very excited about all of the cannabis developments in the hemp industry, medical and recreational. So, I mean, we're letting some synergy happen today. So
Yeah, I think I'm one too. So let's start right there with that guy drinking the beer in the back. What's your name and why are you here?
Kent Wright, Northwest Farmers Union. So just here.
Little louder, please.
Kent Wright, Northwest Farmers Union.
Why don't you pull up?
Yeah, but you're half committed.
Here to support all forms of agriculture. So we do a lot. The 20,000 members within our national organization, 3 paid lobbyists. So we're here to help in any way we can.
awesome.
My name's Todd Delato. I've been in the hemp industry for 22 or 23 years or so. Started the U.S.'s first hemp food business and wrote the world's first hemp cookbook, and been involved in the development of the medical marijuana industry and where we are now. And so I'm currently a horticultural scientist and industry consultant and public policy advisor down in Corvallis. And I'm here for a lot of reasons.
Awesome.
My name's Rick Bowden, Tradewinds Hemp Company. We started in the early 90s. I've worked with a lot of different types of material and tried to research a lot of the necessary steps to get to industrial levels and have a real resurgence of the agricultural economy. Really excited about everything that's going on and glad everybody's here.
Cliff Thomason, I'm with the Oregon Hemp Company down in Southern Oregon. Grew a little crop this year.
Rick Fouch, I'm an emergency physician and involved in a hopeful way with natural good medicine, and we're looking to create better and better and more natural good medicine.
Yes. I'm Margaret Fluellen. I'm the one that started Natural Good Medicines with my husband, and hemp in products is just wonderful. I think it's something that we've always needed to do, another farming crop for our farmers, economic boost for employment, and just making a good product for people. I don't have to feel guilty about letting you use or letting you use. I won't feel guilty about it because I use the absolute best. And that brought in some really great people, Rick Fouch and Rick Cozen here, and Lynn Fouch, his wife. They came in and just, wow, and supported what we're doing and really made me feel like, okay, this is what we're supposed to do. This is it, the quality. And hemp industry is where it's at. And cannabis is what all the cannabis is.
My name's Edgar Winters. I'm Executive Director of Oregon Agriculture, Food, and Rural Consortium, so educational service network. We teach farmers of all natures, not only just cannabis, but food, vegetables, all kinds of construction ways of doing new farming techniques the right way instead of the old way. And also, I was the first licensee hemp farmer here in the state, 77 years, and Lynn, she was the second. I don't know where she's at. She should be here.
His wife.
His wife, yeah.
I can speak for her.
Okay, go ahead.
But I don't know where she's at either.
Okay. So we're just kind of getting together and trying to get hemp established again in Oregon. And we haven't had it here in a long time. And it used to be a very valuable crop in this state. And we want to bring it back and get it into a full scale. We're into really processing end of it. The farming end we wanted to do, but we realized that it takes a lot of work and effort, time and money to be a big time farmer in any type of commodity, whatever you're doing. So we've had to incorporate a lot of smart people around us, because that's what makes a good business successful, with smart people around you. So we're just trying to get established and get a forefront in the hemp industry here in Oregon and beyond. Because we do a lot of consulting works in all 3 states, Kentucky with Rick, and Colorado, and also here in Oregon. So that's basically what we do.
Trevor Hill, I'm part owner in a 40-acre farm in Colorado, and we're focused mostly on cannabidiol, production. And I'm a licensee here in Oregon, but we haven't really gotten started because I have a hard time committing to it with when Colorado's so hemp friendly, cannabis friendly. So I've just sort of like got my foot in here, toe in the water in Oregon, waiting for it to become, for the state to really get that it's, which kind of what you're saying. So, and then we have a CBD company called Irie Hemp Company, and we sell nationally, internationally, tinctures and vape products.
Okay, I'm Rick Kozin. I'm with Edgar Winters and Doc here and Margaret, and we've formed a corporation, or working with a corporation, Natural Good Medicines. Currently, I'm the president of Natural Good Medicines. I'm glad to be here. My first convention, so hemp convention. The one thing I wanted to say was, and reiterate Edgar, we talked about working to make it happen, but I wanted to reiterate that again, we're going to make it happen.
We're going to make it happen.
We're going to make it happen. I look forward to working with all the growers that have licenses in the state. I think our horsepower together can really move us, yoked together, can get us in the right direction. I'd like to get with each and every one of you that grows and has a license, and we can sit down and talk about this. I think we've got the means to make it happen quickly. And I'll leave it at that. But anyway, thank you for having me.
I'm Mike Lewis. I'm a Kentucky farm in Kentucky. I work as a family farm advocate, advocating for access to markets and capital for small-scale family farmers.
I'm Dave Sieber. Most of you guys know who I am. I've been a cannabis activist for 48 years. I've been a leading activist in hemp, industrial hemp building materials for 25 years. I pioneered the first prototypes of hemp MDF. I am the co-creator of Hemp Shield, which is the only really commercially viable hemp building material that's on the market at this time. And I actually thought this meeting here was going to be about talking to the farmers. I had an idea. I didn't know that I was going to get to talk to you guys that way, but I wanted to talk to you as if you were the farmers and present a concept of something that I made in 2008 about what is a viable path for us to take with industrial hemp. And the story is really simple on this. When I started out, I wanted to save the forest. I wanted to make building materials. I wanted to make composites. I was totally successful working with Washington State University on this. I end up in 1993 at the offices of Roseburg Lumber Company, the heaviest redneck lumber company I know of in the United States.
They are.
Who says, we know what you did. We know that it works. We need 1,400 dry tons of fiber every 24 hours, and we need it 323 days a year. As soon as you're ready to come with the quantity at the right price, we're ready to take it on. This was 1993. Guess what, folks? Nobody's even reproduced my boards, let alone you could take all the hemp that's being grown in North America. I'm going to throw in Western Europe. I'll give you Russia too, and there's not enough to run that plant for a month. Okay? So the situation comes, how do we do this? So I'm sitting there with the modern father of the whole composite industry, Mr. Tom Maloney, up at Washington State University, and we said, we're going to have to figure this out. We need to figure out a sequence of products. We need to figure out, first of all, a growing technique that removes all the expense that's associated with harvesting and processing hemp. We want to compete against wood waste. We want to compete against biomass. We want to take all the cost out of it so that we can come down and do that. Now, how are we going to get from here to there? And that was the point. So the first thing is that we don't need it decorticated. We don't need it redded. We're talking about if you grow it like this, and you grow it really densely, 16 to 18 feet, no side branching, right? And you chop it into little pieces like this, which would mean that at the end of the combine, there would have to be a drying unit to keep the structural integrity of the particle geometries. Then you can send it right to the factory. Now, I'm not saying these are exclusive in that there aren't other uses. There are, and that they're all valid. What I'm saying is, I thought out a way here that we could start where, and in fact, I'm advocating that the first step is making biochar and biofuels. Because number one, the investment in the plant to do it is minimal. It's definitely at the level where a family farmer could do it. Even if you went full tilt and put in a pyrolysis plant or whatever you call it, it's about the cost of a new tractor. So this is reality of how we could start, okay?
I just bought a 1957 Alice Chalmers G tractor for $900. Is that relative to the cost here?
Sort of it is, because the truth of it is, if you wanted to be really primitive about this, they've been making charcoal for 40,000 years, and if you guys didn't want to retrieve the biofuels, there's nothing to stop you from digging a hole in the ground and throwing the stalks in there and covering it over with some dirt and setting it on fire, and you would have the biochar, okay?
I have some biochar
Yeah.
at the table over here people can see too. It's pretty amazing.
Now, if you guys don't understand
biochar.
how profound this thing with the biochar is, the truth of it is that, and by the way, hemp is by far the best biomass to make biochar that there is on the planet. Okay?
Why is that then? Why do they say that?
Because of the combination of the yields of the volatile gases that can be made into fuels, and the benignness of the leftover char, and that it's completely non-toxic, and that when you take that char and you activate it, how do you activate it? You throw in some mycorrhiza, and you let it grow through it, and that activates it. And then you put that into your topsoil at a rate of 20%. It does three things immediately. Number one, it stops all nutrient runoff from agriculture into the watershed. This is critical. We gotta stop killing the oceans. We gotta stop dumping all these chemicals into the watershed. This takes the farmers, this stops them from polluting. That's the first thing that it does. It turns out that every gram of charcoal has 1,600 square feet of surface area on it. So that even when it's powdered, so that, in other words, whatever you're putting down there stays there. And if you ever do the science and understand how much a plant actually takes up of the nutrients versus the amount of nutrients we're throwing on soil, it's ridiculous how tiny the actual amount that the plant uses is. So if we could get the residue of that to stay in the soil instead of going into the watershed, this is a big, big change to start off, okay? The next thing that it does is it reduces the need for outside fertilizer, for petroleum-based fertilizer, anywhere from 60 to 80%. The third thing that it does is it increases your yield, depending on which research that you look at, anywhere from 30 to 300% for the same amount of work. What farmer wouldn't like to get 30 to 300% more, whatever he's growing for the same amount of work, okay? So here's the first step. Here's where we get family farms to be able to produce a product.
Well, we do have a time limit, so let's give everybody else
So there's just a sequence of things that we could do just like that would get us where we need to go.
And that's great. That's exactly what we're here to talk about.
Okay. I think, now that I'm in the Pacific Northwest, I should share some very, very personal thing with you guys. I was educated in Washington State. That was my first contact with the Pacific Northwest. It wasn't so much my education that I valued from my experience in Washington. It was the fact that I was treated like a human being and not shunned because of the color of my skin. You know, way back when, people would talk about loving everybody, but they didn't. And I really, that lasts for me forever from the Pacific Northwest. I don't know, Washingtonians and Oregonians, they think you're a human being, and that's really super valuable for someone like me. Okay, so eventually I became chairman. I became an academic, and I became chairman of the department, which contained both biochemistry and engineering. And so one day they said, why don't you do some hemp research? And I said, okay, sounds fun, because I'm retired. But you know, I'll do it for fun, but I'll do it from the perspective of an academic person. So I want actual yields, and I want actual facts. And so I went ahead and generated some facts. And actually, from being here, I realized that where our research program is in Hawaii. First of all, it seems like we're the only funded research program that exists in the U.S.
That's right. You are. Yep.
Secondly, we're 3 months ahead of you. That's it. No special insight. We're just 3 months ahead of you, because we just last week, Saturday, we harvested our second crop.
Congratulations.
And so today, later on, I'll have a talk and say, well, what do you do now? Now that you harvested, what do you do now? So that's the second question.
Oh, hey guys, and this was Harry. Did you mention your name? I don't know if you guys got that. My name's Eric, and I go by Hemp Seed sometimes now because that's what I changed my middle name to, just to represent even more. And just getting to the point, I'm just trying to be representative in the hemp industry in a big way, and I think having a company or however I could place myself, I'm more interested in just the education part of it. So I developed a website that no one had the domain from, that was catchy, and trying to just stick with this idea of coming together with the vision of how we can get the message out and educate people. And that's the fun I've been having so far with learning how we can come together and what it takes to get these laws in place to work in our favor as a farmer. And being the farmer is a whole new thing to me too, but I think it's a learning process where we're all going to get to farm it in a way that works best for our interest. And so I'm finding out what people are wanting, and also to farm for other people's interest, what the market wants. And the learning process is really fun, and it's good to have people that care about similar things, so we can help each other's personal goals further, and also even come together and help beyond our personal goals, help the world and beyond our little world, and see how we can spread this message to the rest of the world. So it's pretty good times for everyone now, and just try to embrace it fully. And that's what I'm here to do, and thanks for everyone.
Eric, that was really nice. My name is Gianna. I have my roots in the panhandle of Texas, where we did milling and mining and large, and then out in Dallas we have 17,000 acres farmland. And so go back every harvest, grew up in LA. I went into medicine, so my background personally is in soils. I did soil supplementation research for the purpose of mineral deficiency disease treatments. I was working at Stanford with an individual that was saying that mineral deficiency is turns on the markers for autoimmune diseases. So some research around that. Then I went into medicine at OHSU. I got into restructuring healthcare systems, integration in large reform, complex reform systems. I work with healthcare as a networker. I make sure that each department is understanding what the other one is doing, not over-testing, not under-testing, and as the retrofits of hospitals come up, reorganization and efficiency that way. So taking a lot of what I know, same players I'm seeing the cannabis industry, which I've also been in for the last 5 years, working as a consultant and an assistant consultant for a lot of different Hail Mary positions, saving crops, building structures, talking with people, learning about what's happening out there. Beyond that now, I'm doing consulting, doing reorganizations of small startups. I'm giving access to low-cost sourcing, legal resourcing, project management, accounting. We do a lot of just getting people together. So. Thank you so much. I'm so excited for the work that's being done here.
Well, I'm Eric. I've been farming for about 15 years, a little bit over. My company is, I do whole systems design theory on landscaping, so I won't get too much into it. It's permaculture design. I do a lot of teaching now, but I just graduated a couple years ago in soil science and agriculture science and crop botany and all this kind of stuff. And so whole systems design is really what I'm doing. And so I don't know how I can serve our community, but I'm well knowledge. I have a lot of knowledge in my head and ready to do it. So I'm just trying to figure out how the market is going to open up and how we're going to do this together. So that's it.
Awesome. Well, thanks everybody for helping me with my presentation.
Thank you, Mike. We enjoyed your presentation really much.
The irony is not often lost on me. I think I saw Amy get a photograph. It's rather amazing for me. To be with people that have been advocating and doing this type of stuff for decades. And, I came late to the party, so it's really it's an honor to be here with all of you people that laid the foundation. And, started spreading the good word well before Kentucky thought it would do something big. So,
well, that's great. Let's give all of us a big hand.
About, whether there's one person in a room or 100 people, obviously we want numbers, but the fact that having all of you together, that we are building this industry, and that is what is super important to me, and I'm hoping that that has come across